Welcome back to another edition of Real Estate Coach Uncensored. My name is Greg McDaniel.
And I'm Bernice Ross. We have a really fantastic show for you today. It's called 5 Unique Ways to Target Your Marketing Dollars. Now, it's August. We know everybody's thinking about, vacations or kids going back to school in many states at the end of the month. But this is the perfect time to really plan to maximize your production for the rest of the year. And we're going to be talking about some unique ways that you can do that. It begins with identifying what's working best in your business. That's the most important thing because you want to spend about 80% of your time on that. And then also you need to look at what do you need to get rid of that's not generating leads. And finally, identifying 1 or 2 new sources of additional revenue to help you grow your business. And we have some really unusual suggestions for you today that will make you stand out. Now, Greg, lead generation is the lifeblood of this business. And the most important thing is that you're spending 80% of your time on what is really working now. And then I'd like to encourage each of you to take 1 or 2 suggestions from what we're doing today and try one of these techniques or strategies in your business so that you are growing your business with something new. And again, that's what you want to do. So you can use that other 20%. 80% is what's proven. 20%, it could be like fall marketing things to do, different things that you might do in the winter. It can be something that's tied to some sort of local event, like a 4th of July parade or, a Labor Day parade, something that's happening locally, or it can be adding a new niche. So Greg, what's the first step for our viewers today?
The first step that I would really encourage people to really look at is get away from the shiny object syndrome and go back and look at your top 3 lead generation sources that are currently generating closed deals. Now, that's the optimal word. There's closed deals, not just leads, but closed deals. Go through your transactions the last 6 months and note which lead generation source is giving you the best return on your money. And then really go double down on that one. If you guys are not tracking those numbers right now, please go back and start tracking these numbers. It will not take you too long to do this. Bernice, let's drop into our first unique strategy. And this one, I love this idea. It's go out there. And I want you to do a client appreciation event featuring your clients that have done something uniquely special in the community. It could be something in the arenas of maybe helping local food banks, helping homeless, helping, rescuing animals, you fill in the blank. But you really kind of highlight what they're doing and so that you make them the hero. But this could be an incredibly powerful opportunity for you to be visible in your current marketplace.
And when you do this client appreciation event, Greg, what you want to do, so say that you've got someone who's been helping the homeless or they've been rescuing animals, then invite people who share that interest so that they can interact and be around people who are like them, because that strengthens your connection with the entire group.
Bernice, another really incredible, interesting idea that you can do is you can go out there, you can go, connect with the different historians in the area, get pictures and newspapers and different sources of information that took place in the local areas, see what kind of businesses have moved. I mean, there's an incredible opportunity there to really become a resource for folks who want to learn what's going on. Actually, in my hometown, in Walnut Creek, California, they have these little placards. And they're on different light posts around downtown, and you can type in a hashtag, certain amount of code, different numbers, and then they'll give you information with an audio or a recording in your ears of exactly what took place in that area at that time. You can take that information and then you can push it back out to your local community and your database and be that go-to guy or gal.
Now, that's such a great suggestion. And when you're searching these old newspapers, if you can find any real estate ads, like from the 1950s or 1990s, just going back even maybe before then to see what prices are. People are always interested in this kind of historical data. And it's fun to see what, the kind of houses they were and how they were marketing versus what we do today.
I love doing that exact same thing. I like to look at old ads to see gas was 39 cents, right, a gallon. You're like, oh my goodness gracious, what the heck happened? But then you look at all the other different kind of creative ideas that people had back then in doing marketing, and why not put it into your business today? Go back and use the stuff that was tried and true.
Let's go on to number 2. Is it time to add a new niche to your business?
Mm.
And one of the things, real estate is still going to function best for most people if you're hyper local. I mean, if you're doing ultra high end, and yeah, you need to know what's going on in different international markets. But for most agents, you want to really narrow down. I want to give you some information right now about 4 niches to consider for your business. And these 4 niches, according to the National Association of Realtors' most recent profile of home buyers and sellers, these 4 niches constitute 61% of the business. I mean, it's a huge amount. And the 4 niches are veterans, first of all. They represent 18% of the total business. There's an additional 2% who are active duty military right now. These people move on average every 3 years. Single females, 19%. You're good with working with single women, whether you're a man or a woman, or if you are a single woman, then this is a niche to seriously consider. If oftentimes single females or single moms, they have really specific needs, but they also can get down payment assistance in many cases. The next one we're seeing, and I think this number is going to be higher coming off of COVID, but the last profile had 12% of the sales were going to multi-generational families. And places to look for this are, for example, people from many places in the world, they prefer living as a family group. So you will have mom, dad, and brothers, sisters, cousins, oftentimes in the same property. So again, if you're working with people who prefer this style of living, this has continued to grow due to COVID, because we had so many young people that went home to live with their parents because that was their only option. And then finally, senior citizens. We know the baby boomers, they currently compose 22% of the population. They control 42% of the listing. They're all 55 or older at this point. So this is another one that can be great. Now let's go on to what can you do that's unique here? Well, as I mentioned, oftentimes when people are first-time buyers, especially veterans and single women, single men too, even if people have been homeowners, oftentimes a senior citizen may be help. They may need help with the down payment. And if you're not familiar with Down Payment Resource, again, that's downpaymentresource.com. They aggregate all the different down payment assistance programs in the country. These can take the form of a grant, lowered interest rates. It can be, they may advance you part of the money for the down payment. If you stay, and for each year you stay in the property, you get to pay, you only have to, if you stay there for 5 years, you don't have to pay them back. I mean, there are a lot of different programs. And to give you an idea, when my brother got ready to sell his house in California, I checked on the DPR, that's the Down Payment Resource site. I found 25 different programs available either at the federal, state, or local level. And there were up to $125,000 available in potential assistance. Now, you can get, if you've got a teacher married to a firefighter, and one of them's been in the military, you could probably, because these are all special groups, you could probably get 3 different programs, because again, you can layer these. So that means that you can get more than one kind of help. Now, the question is, what do you do in your marketing campaign? Well, here it is. Want to buy a house but need help with your down payment? Contact Jane Agent at 800-555-1212 to learn more. Of course, that would have your name in it with your phone number. You could do this in print. You can cold call. You can text message. You can post on, the social media. You could do a video about it. If you want a customized site from Down Payment Resource, you can actually just do this right from your website when you go on an appointment. Or you can sit down and have the client fill it out during the appointment, and they'll get the programs that are available. Okay, Greg, you've got number 3. What's the next one?
Set a face-to-face appointment as quickly as possible. Now, why is this important? Bernice, even if the seller or buyer are not ready to do something right now in the next couple of months, next couple of weeks or years, or whatever it's going going to be, make the appointment, get in front of them, build that relationship with them. And, you can help the buyers when it comes to getting prepared, checking for back credit issues, tax issues, repair issues, anything that's going to affect their credit issue. Get them in front of the right people immediately. And if you're a seller, you can help getting that property ready, getting it prepped, staged, talking about the procedures of how to get it, photographed.
And one of the things that is a great way to secure the listing, Greg, is when you go out on that appointment, take pictures and then send it
Yeah.
off to Box Brownie and get a virtual staging and send that back to those people so that they can see what their house will look like staged. You just wrapped up the listing when you do that. That's called give to get marketing.
I've actually used Box Brownie myself, and they do incredibly interesting things. I highly recommend their services. Bernice, let's jump into unique strategy number 3. Now, this one is personally one of my favorites. And the reason why I like is it is at a low cost to a no cost for any real estate agent out there that's going to be using it. And it's going out there and you're going to interview your current and past clients in regards to testimonials on camera, if you can get them, if they're willing to do it, talking about, what is so great about living in this area. Then you can post it to your website. You can post it to LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. You pick a website or a social media site, you can post it there and you can highlight why people want to live there. Do they have great, 4th of July barbecues? Are there great walking paths, good areas for dog parks? You fill it in, but you create that environment. And then when you wrap up the testimonial, simple question: who do you know that would be willing to give me a testimonial about how wonderful this area is to live in? Guys, the other great thing about this is the fact that what you can do is you take this video, right? You give it to your client or one of your past clients. And then if they would like to, they can share it on their social media. And then you also give them a very small, something like a 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever amount of dollars that you want to put on a gift card as a gratitude to them for just taking their time, their energy, and their thoughts in regards to the marketplace and helping you promote the neighborhood. You know what, Bernice, the 4 big benefits that I see using this approach are: number 1, you can get a warm face-to-face introduction with a potential client. Golden, as always. Number 2, most people will post your video to their social media sites. And like Bernice said earlier, when it comes to being about them, they will definitely want to promote kind of what they had to say, because everyone likes to talk about themselves. We're all our favorite subjects. Google, this is the really, really, really interesting one. Google interprets these testimonials for the areas as testimonials for you, which blows me away, but is so incredibly interesting when in regards to getting these out there. And then the one that I love the most is, this approach will cost you a very low amount of money. If you want to do the gift cards or not, doesn't really matter, but your cost per return could be substantial.
So, Greg, let's go on to number 5. This is provide assistance to distressed property owners. The foreclosure moratorium finally ended on July 31st, just, very recently. And the Biden administration, though, announced there still is help out there for people who are having pandemic-related income problems. And here are 2 of the options. We would encourage you to go to consumerfinance.gov. Again, consumerfinance.gov/housing. And that has a detailed list of what's available in different areas. But here are 2 of the programs. The first program is for homeowners who have government-backed mortgages. So this can be FHA, it could be anything that's HUD-backed, USDA, and VA loans. And also Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae already have this in place. But these homeowners, if they're still having problems, can obtain up to a 25% reduction in their monthly principal and interest payments. And again, the goal is to help them stay in their homes until they can get back on their feet. And then there's a second program that's called the Homeowner Assistance Fund. That's HAF is the abbreviation. This has close to $10 billion that's been allocated to homeowners that have been impacted by the pandemic. And they can use this for mortgage payments, but they can also use it like for homeowners insurance, utility bills, other purposes that are specified in the bill. These funds are available in addition to that 25% reduction. Now, one of the things that you can do is get the word out there. There is help. There are 2.1 million homeowners now who are seriously delinquent, who haven't been making their mortgage payments. One of the greatest services that you can provide is help someone stay in their home. And if not, then you probably will be that person that gets the listing. And again, there are programs for homeowners, for renters and investors. And let me give you that source again, consumerfinance.gov/housing. Now, the question is, how can you go about reaching these people? We're going to give you a couple of tactics here. The first one, and this is a product from CoreLogic, they host about 50 or 60% of the MLSs. They have a whole variety of financial products as well. But they have a tool called List Source. And what it does, this lets you, it's about 31 cents per name. It can be less or more depending on how many fields you want to choose, but you can probably just choose someone who's in your area who's behind on their payments. But they can actually go in and see who is behind, and you get their contact information. A second alternative is REI Source. And you can use this to locate owners of 1 to 4 unit rentals who may be struggling with their cash flow due to the rent moratoriums. Again, List Source is good for identifying people who are in default or who are behind. REI Source will let you get in contact with people who may be struggling. And again, if they live out of the area, or even if they live in the area, very few people can sustain 15 to 18 months of not getting rent. So investors in this 1 to 4 unit range can be great targets going forward for the next year. Now, here's a simple marketing campaign that can be used for cold calling, door knocking, marketing in print, digitally, on the social media. You can use it almost anywhere. Very simple. Need help with your mortgage payments? ? There's help available. Contact Steve Agent at 800-555-1212 to learn more. Super simple. If you're going after investors, need help making your payments due to the eviction moratorium? There is help available. Contact Steve Agent at 800-555-1212 to learn more. And I want to emphasize again, you can use the consumerfinance.gov/housing, against consumerfinance.gov/housing site to locate the specific types of assistance that are available for any leads that you generate. Say that you create an investor lead, you can see what's available for investors on that site at this moment. Also, especially for investors, they actually have programs where landlords may be able to recover some or all their rent their tenants owe. And most people don't know about that. So that's a huge something that you can bring to the table. And Greg, what we know, and you and I both have learned this from previous downturns, when you can help someone who wants to keep their property do so, when they're facing foreclosure or cash flow problems, they are going to be so grateful to you, and they're going to talk about how you help them to others. So Greg, to wrap up for today, what's your final takeaway?
Get out there and get in front of people as fast as humanly possible. Get testimonials from your local community, from the people that you know, love, and trust, and then repeat and do it again.
Greg, great points. Thanks for being with us today. See you next time.